Hi everyone, Mark here with Traveling Marlins. Just wanted to share with you an experience that Gail and I had not too long ago. We were driving from Eugene, Coburg area of Oregon, headed north on I-5, rainy morning, when I noticed that through my side view mirror that what looked like smoke or something coming out by the rear wheels. I watched it for a couple of seconds and I realized it was water. Not sure what was going on. It was kind of rainy. We just happened literally to be right at a roadside park exit. There's one on both sides of the highway, of the interstate. So we pulled off and the bus was just dumping coolant. It was dumping coolant everywhere. So I sat there for about 30 minutes in the parking lot. Thought, well, maybe we have enough coolant to get back the 35, 40 miles back to Coburg to Marathon, which Marathon Coach is right there, who is the converter of our bus. And I just thought about it, even though we have 20 gallons of coolant, these things hold a bunch. I thought, I'm just not going to risk it, an engine over being cheap. And I had already pulled across back over the highway to head back south, and I just changed my mind against it, and I pulled in the roadside park, and that's where you're seeing the bus parked right now. We were sitting there, and Gail said, what are we going to do? And I said, we're going to call our roadside service provider and arrange a tow for the bus. And I said, and I would like it if you would make us some brownies, which was just designed to take the tension out of the situation, because when you're sitting there, you still have everything. You have your bedroom, you have your bathroom, you have the kitchen. We weren't lacking for anything other than we just weren't going to be able to drive it. And once we pulled over, I did call our service provider, which is CoachNet, who is 100% perfect. They just do everything right. They made sure that we were in a safe area. They started checking on some tow truck companies. I had called Marathon by this time, and they told me who they would recommend. I called CoachNet back, and they ended up saying, yes, that's the place that we've heard that was the best around here. And they called the company, and they said they couldn't be out there until 9 o'clock the next morning. So we were going to obviously spend the night, which is no big deal. And they called back later that evening about 7 o'clock to make sure we were okay, we were safe. Did they need anything from them? And we said no, we were fine. And even the next morning, they called at 8 o'clock the next morning to see if we'd heard from the tow truck company yet, which I had just heard from them. And CoachNet, again, were very easy to deal with. And, you know, they were making sure we were okay and taken care of. So I can't sing their praises enough. They were great. If you don't have some kind of roadside service, sooner or later, you're probably going to regret it. And I will show you the video here, and I'll kind of show you what's going on during it. And we will leave a link to the tow truck company we used in the space below. And you can kind of see the process of what it takes to load one of these coaches up on a tow truck or trailer. So here it is the next morning, and two different trucks showed up. The big one with the trailer behind it, and then a smaller wrecker, which was the owner of the company that helped actually design this trailer. And the trailer here doesn't look big enough to hold our coach. I'm thinking, what the devil? And they came out and they asked me how long my coach was, and I said 45 feet. But since my tow bar is on the back of the truck, along with my little roll-out curtain to keep rocks from flying up on the truck, that goes out, another foot. And he measured it with a tape measure, and this trailer can expand out to hold different sizes of coaches. And this trailer was designed specifically to haul Prevost first, because that's why it was designed so low to the ground, and it can haul other coaches. And that's what it's used for, up and down Oregon and Washington State. They haul coaches all over the place. And it was a really neat trailer. And here in a minute, I'm going to show you the video, and you'll see it from the side where the trailer's already been kind of expanded. And they ended up, when I got in the coach and I turned it around to pull up on their trailer, I thought I was just going to pull up to the trailer. And they just motioned me to come right up on the trailer, which was kind of different, not having driven on a trailer like that, but it is a little bit different. Gail was over there closing her eyes, and Diesel was watching on, waiting so he could laugh at me. But it all went well. I like a great company to work with here. So when you leave on a trip, you can think you have a well-maintained coach, which I think we do, but things can still break. And it's really not a matter of if it's going to happen to you, it's when. But what matters the most is how you choose to deal with it. You can stay calm and just have brownies like I did, or you can get worked up, which is going to work your wife up. Just makes the situation go even worse. So yeah, just handle it, make some phone calls, don't get wound up. You're still safe on the side of the road, you've got everything you need, and just stay calm about the situation, and it'll work out. And if you notice, after I get turned around here and start pulling up on to the trailer, and maybe even before that, I think Gail got a number of little shots where the coolant is still coming out of the back. Now this is the next morning with a cold engine, so it's no big deal to drive it up on the coach. It takes a while to warm up. On the trailer. It takes a while to drive up on the, to warm it up after you start it. But you'll see coolant still coming out, and that's why I didn't want to risk trying to drive it back in town. I just didn't know how much had leaked out at that time. now I'm about to pull up on the trailer, and which seemed kind of strange. It's not really wide. It's wide enough for your coach, of course. And if you notice, when we pull up on the trailer, I was worried about my coach dragging at the middle of the coach where it's so low. It didn't even get really, it maybe looked closer on the film than it did, but it's probably never got closer, about 4 or 5 inches from dragging the center of the coach. And if these things will clear, yours will definitely clear, because these coaches set very low to the ground. But as you see the front tires get all the way up on there, you'll see a little rubber chalk, and that's where the slider is. And you literally, that's the part they slid the trailer out, and there's a slider, and once you get your front tires up on there next to his chalk, he'll motion for you to not steer anymore at that point. And you just pull up on there and take your hands off the steering wheel, and he will show you how far you need to come forward. And at first it seemed a little weird, but it's not too bad. You can feel the trailer move slightly, not much. It's a pretty sturdily built trailer. Okay, here we are back at Marathon, and they call it Camp Marathon, and they have 20 full hookups, 50 amp service, sewage, water, everything for your coaches. And they let Marathon owners stay there for free. I mean, Marathon is a great company to do business with. And way down back behind the truck there, that one building kind of juts out to the side, that's a company called TEC that's at the far end of Marathon's property. And they're the ones that actually came down to check out and find out what was wrong with our coach. And I'll show you that here in a moment on this, the little part, or a $3 piece of heater hose that went bad that caused all this. Okay guys, on the video where you're seeing we were towed in while we were up in Oregon, most of the people thought it was our radiator, which is right here, that let go and was leaking, and it really wasn't that at all. It was this little 18-inch piece of heater hose that goes just from here to here, and it was leaking on the back side over here where you couldn't see it. And we found it by coming to the back of the coach and up through the recovery tank up here. I filled it full of water and it started leaking out down in this compartment right here. And what that goes to, it goes to our diesel fired heater, which can heat the hot water, it can heat the house, the coach, and it can heat the engine up. So it does a number of things. It's kind of like an aqua hot, but on this it's just a heater, and we have different valves that go to different sections of the coach that it can run. And that's what caused us to be towed in, and we ended up having to replace all 22 gallons of coolant because it had leaked the vast majority of it out. So that's what was wrong when we were towed in, and that's just one of those things you have to learn to deal with. It's nothing major, but I would not go anywhere without having CoachNet, which is our roadside service. That's what we do. And Gail's over there giving me motions to twist so you can see me. But we use CoachNet. We used CoachNet, and I'm way too dark in this picture, but I'm done. I'm done.